Greetings and various assorted salutations. I've been off my YouTube channel for a while and had much need for using various projects for a bit. But, occasionally something comes up and that's why I keep the channel around. Anyways, today's tutorial is focusing on using Tinkercad to create things for 3D printing. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of other tutorials out there. This is intended to be a very basic introduction for people that I might be working with on this. So anyways, the first thing you need to do is go to the website tinkercad.com. Now, you'll have to set up an account. If you're doing this through school, which is kind of what this tutorial is intended for, you want to probably use your school-issued email account as your setup account. But you'd click Sign In here. If you're a teacher, you'd click here. If you're a student, click here. And then set up your account. That would be the first step. Now, after you've set up your own account, you need to get to the correct part of the website. And sometimes when you're signing in, you get to different parts. It can be a bit confusing. But generally, what you're going to look for is somewhere up along the top, there's going to be a thing called Tinker. And what you're going to be looking for is 3D design. And you'll see here, it takes you to this page, or it may look different depending on what time you're looking at this at. You hit Start Tinkering, and then it should take you to this page. Now, your page will probably look blank, but I'm using my work account, so I have a few projects sitting around on it. So let's see here. If you wanted to create a new project, you'd hit Create, 3D Design, because we're using this for 3D printing. Tinkercad is probably originally designed for middle school, and it can do quite a bit. It's a fairly sophisticated program, but we're going to be focusing on it for designing stuff for 3D printing. Alrighty, so now we're into the file. This here is the work plane. This is where you'll be working with your three-dimensional objects and whatnot. You can save files. They automatically generate a name, and you can change it if you want. It helps to change it to something that makes more sense, so I'm going to go with tutorial 3D print. All right. So first off, we'll take a look at camera controls. Now, as you're working, you may need to move the camera around, and to do that, you can use the right mouse button, click and hold it, and you can drag your mouse around and maneuver it that way. You'll notice in the left-hand corner up here, there's this box, and you can also click on the different faces of the box to get views. It's like here's the bottom, view from the right, view from the back, and there's that way. So that's how you can manipulate the camera as needed, so you can see where you're working. Now, most of the objects that you're going to be working with, they're over here, sitting over here. You can also have a search, and there's a few other tools options here. For now, let's just grab a cube. We click, drag it out onto the plate, onto the plane, and it's right here. You can see there's some manipulation options here for while you're working. But let's say you want to change the size of this box. Everything is running in millimeters, just so you're aware. The 3D printer also works in millimeters. It's just the way that's done. But we want to change the dimensions. We want to make a 40 by 40 by 40, X, Y, Z axis. So to manipulate the shape of this thing, we can click on this corner here. And let's set this to 40. Let's click over here and set this one to 40. Now you can drag, you can like click and drag these, but some people struggle with being precise enough. It's like here's 39, here's 40. You can also rotate objects as well. So when I click on it, I can rotate it to left or right by clicking and dragging, left clicking and dragging. And once again, if you're having troubles with it, you can just click up here, and let's say I wanted to go to minus 90 degrees. There we go. You can also manipulate the shape this way, left, backwards, or forwards. And you can also manipulate this through here as well. But basic controls of manipulating the individual shape. Now let's say we want to put a cylinder on this. So we'll stick that right here. You can see you can drag and drop here. That's always an option. And the same controls manipulations are on every object that you create. Let's put in some text. We'll put it up here on the front's face. Click and drag. We can manipulate what text we have here. So let's see here, hi. Not a lot of choices. You've got your sans and your serif, so at least you have those two, but not a lot of font choices, but what can you expect? It's a free education program. We can adjust the size here. We can click on it and move it around. You can see you can even manipulate dimensions this way. Very click-friendly program. Now, I want to set this in a bit and make it embedded into this thing. So let's do that. I'm not gonna, there we go. And then what we do here is we can click hole, and now this will leave a high exclamation point shaped hole in the cube. Very convenient for what we're trying to do here. And you can click and drag and drop shapes in here, whatever you want. Your limitations are basically your imagination at this point. Now, what you want to do now is, let's say we want to get this printed. We want to get this to the project manager, the 3D printer project manager, or whatever the title is. What you would do is here is click export. And you're going to want to send it to a STL file. This is one of the file types that 3D printer slicer programs can read, and this is what you'll want to use here. You'll notice there's other formats here. We're not messing with those. We want an STL. Don't ask me what it stands for. And that'll go to your downloads folder or wherever your downloads are set to go, which is usually the download folder. But this was just a basic tutorial on how to navigate your way around the work plane in Tinkercad, how to add shapes, how to combine shapes, how to manipulate their sizes, depth, rotate things around, stuff like that. My hope is that this is a very basic tutorial. You might use this as a jumping off point because what I wanted to show is like, okay, how do I set something up for 3D printing? I'm not sure how I'll use this project, but it's a video I have available. I guess, hope this helps, and until later.